Hello, this is Randal Wark of eChannel News. Today, we're very happy to be in conversation with Michael Goldstein, President of LAN Infotech. Michael, nice to have you on the show.
Definitely nice to be here.
Uh, let's get right into it. One of the things I like about you, well, first of all, I like to get a sense of who you are, what you do for those that are watching today. And I always like to start off with my cocktail question. You pretend you're in a cocktail party and no one knows anything about IT. So you have to explain this to non-IT people. Don't use keywords that we all know internally, but what do you do?
So we help keep our clients' computers running to keep it simple. I think everyday life, whether it's the phone that's attached to your hip, or the car that you're driving, or the home alarm that you're going in to turn on and off, you know, everything communicates. So we help keep that up and running.
Hmm. Thank you. That makes perfect sense. You're probably the first one to really answer that in such a simple way. Thank you so much. Let's go back a little bit about some of the things that you do as a company for Infotech. You have a vertical, one of which is one of your major ones is law. And it kind of goes back to your origin story back when you were running the IT at a New York law firm. So, why do you find that focusing on a vertical is better than trying to be all things for all people?
I always equate food, cars, and doctors. If you think about it, if you have a major health issue, you're not going to your dentist, right? If you have a problem with your foot, you're not going to the cardiologist. So in reality, I think that every industry really handles technology a little different. And I think that since I had the background in law firms, it goes back a long time that I've been working with law firms. We
30.
understand how they work. Yeah, 30 years law. I think I had a little darker hair then. But in reality, you speak their lingo, you understand their business, and you understand, how they function. So I think that's the same for a lot of different verticals.
And what are some of the other verticals? I think you do nonprofits and also
Nonprofits, healthcare. Um,
healthcare.
Not-for-profits has been a good one because, again, we have to look and see what the benefits are that our manufacturers are giving. Because in reality, you have large not-for-profits, you have small not-for-profits, but they all really depend on grants, and they all really depend on donations in place there. So sometimes they're not writing that same corporate check. But in reality, a lot of our manufacturers really give some great, have some great not-for-profit discounts that are out there and programs. Some of them are at no charge. So
Yeah.
we love that industry to be able to not only give back, help people out, and really keep businesses flowing.
Well, it's great that you help nonprofits. Uh, we just basically lived a whole year with this new normal, this post-pandemic new normal. Uh, what has been the most valuable service that you provided for your clients over the last 12 months? The one that really was a game changer for them?
I really think that we converted a lot of what we were doing to online training. We taught people the how-tos of working from home. We taught them cybersecurity tips and tricks. And the most important thing, which still continues today, is really how to run a virtual event. I think a lot of us might have had a little, video awkwardness that are in place there. So it was whether you were conducting a company meeting or it was a company event, but more importantly, how do we communicate with our clients? And then in that not-for-profit or not-for-profit vertical, or I'm involved in a lot of chambers of commerce, where people used to congregate, shake hands, and they were a source of networking. Now how do we do it with 50 people on a Zoom session? So we've really helped a lot of companies understand that and felt comfortable with technology, where before they were learning technology. Last March we were forced into technology, forced into working from home.
And I believe you have a lot of experience with the online events. I mean, especially since the beginning of the pandemic, you've been on countless keynotes talking about cybersecurity.
It was, we tried informationally. I was just talking to one. I remember it was a year ago, 2 weeks ago. We were with a local bar association. So the Florida Bar Association for Attorneys, we were out there trying to set up one of our first, in studio type of events. They had cameras set up. Lo and behold, we didn't know that all the little tips and tricks that we put together there just to get our last in-person event off was really going to train us for the next year plus. We ran, dozens and dozens of events that first couple of weeks. And then we actually ran a how-to of how we did it and how we learned it, from setting up the camera angles to making sure, all your cell phones are off, looking at how the microphones would work. But we ran a lot of how-tos on that. Because in some instances, you look back about a year and a half ago, I think it was that a person in the UK that was doing the news, and all of a sudden their child walked in, the world, world came to an end with all the memes that were out there. Now it's second nature. That could be the least, the least obtrusive thing that would happen in today's day and age.
Could be a lawyer that's turned into a cat.
and you go out there. So I think we all have those funny virtual experiences, and whether it's family experiences. I sit there and say that my mom and my mother-in-law even know what Zoom are, and they're in their 80s. So I think it becomes the Kleenex of virtual technology these days.
So you were in the news recently. You ranked in Inc. magazine's list of Florida's fastest growing companies based on 2 years of growth, 67%, which is insane. To what do you credit that achievement?
You know what? I will say a lot of hard work. It just doesn't come. It just doesn't come easy. Last year was a great year for us. We were bent in different directions. The year before was probably our best year ever. And I do equate a lot of that to cloud. We've adopted cloud computing, and I'll translate, like we translated in the beginning, the Googles, the Zooms, the Microsofts of the world. That growth has been really good for us because we've been able to explain to our clients what the cloud is, how it affects their business. Is it right for them? Should they be, working with Google? Should they be working with Microsoft? There's a whole bunch of choices that are out there. And years ago, my grandfather used to always ask what I did for a living. What is it? What is it? And I would joke about it, saying that I was a chef. I was a computer chef, because we were able to take all the ingredients, put it together into a recipe that people would want to come back for more. And that's how we kind of equate our growth with the cloud.
Chef Michael, that sounds good. I noticed that you're a music fan. You've got a couple. I see Journey. I see Pink Floyd. I see Styx, I believe.
Queen.
And I think at the very beginning you were really into the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead was one of my all-time favorites, with a lot of live music shows. It fills up my phone.
So I wanted to speak about the Grateful Dead and kind of bring it into our conversation, because they're a fascinating look into marketing innovation, because as a band, they were doing things completely different from other bands at that time. Most bands back in the day were focused on album sales. And like you said, they're all about the live experience. So they were making money off the live experience, even letting people tape their shows, like the freemium the freemium way of doing things, all ahead of its time. What in LAN Infotech are you doing differently than the mainstream? Kind of like that link between the Grateful Dead doing things differently.
Well, and that marketing book was a great thing that I read. I remember looking at all that and seeing it. Listen, I think you have to think outside of the box. We all know that technology is supposed to work, and sometimes it doesn't work. I think you have to break down technology into simple things, like when we started this conversation, of things that we go out there. Because listen, I go to a lawyer because I want their expert information, and I need them to translate what that document is. What we've seen to have a lot of success in is translating technology into English and translating technology into your business. And that's been a really good success for us. I usually tell them that when we go in there, listen, people like to shop. My favorite line is if they're with a company today, I don't mind being the second stringer. I don't mind being the guy that's sitting out there on the bench. And then I remind them that, Tom Brady wasn't a starting quarterback. Tom Brady came in, and just like a second string player, someone that's sitting on the bench, we have to be able to perform when that tap on the shoulder comes. So from being able to translate the technical terms into English terms, how it affects their business, and more importantly, making them feel comfortable that we're just not here to sell products and sign contracts every year, that we truly want to be a part of their business. We have some clients that have been my clients for 15, 20 years. I can't believe it when I look back sometimes. And I think that people do business with people that they like and people that they feel comfortable with. And we really try to do the best thing for our clients, even if that means not necessarily buying a specific product from us. If they can get it for a better price and it's the same product that's online, we'll stand behind them as long as it has a valid warranty. And many people really are all about making sure that everything they sell has to come through that.
That's very deadhead-like. Customer first, or fan first would be the
Fan first, yeah.
one of the best ways that you've done this, I believe, of putting, being that translator, as you talked about translating technology into something that, for example, a law firm could use, is your use of the dark web and how you've kind of taken the veil off the dark web to show people what it is and why it's so threatening to them. How have you used the dark web as a marketing tool?
So I will just change that question and I'll come back to it in 1 second. One of our strongest relationships is working with an organization called InfraGard. InfraGard is Homeland Security, FBI, Secret Service, and it's opened to members of the community that have good standing records to come out and join. And we've participated with InfraGard just to meet professionals that are out there. One of our biggest achievement before we actually had dark web specific products is we actually did a few events with the Secret Service where we had a local Secret Service agent come in and present to attorneys, but really explain before we had tools to go out and with dark web. We did a live event with the Secret Service where they had their Secret Service laptop, their MiFi, and they actually went online and showed us what the dark web looked like, translated in different languages, and showed us how easy it was to go out there and buy credit card information online, anywhere, anyhow, by just knowing where you had to go. And we ran a few of these.
I think you even use people in the audience as test cases.
We do.
With their permission, of course.
With their permission. This part was the start of the dark web. We've invested in or we've partnered up with a few companies that give us an easier way than having a Secret Service laptop search the dark web. But people didn't realize what the dark web was. And what we've done is we've utilized the tool. We've done a lot of events where we, like you said, we took all the recipients' email addresses, assuming that those emails were business addresses, and we put them through a tool that we subscribe to just to show people how many hits are up there on the dark web. And we explained to them, listen, yes, the dark web, there's nothing like a Google sitting out there on the dark web. You have to know where to go, what to find. But our information is prolifically up there. And then over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, you probably can't watch a major network news without a commercial by one of the credit card companies, one of the credit companies that are in place there, of talking about the dark web. So we were pre-educating a lot of our clients on this. And listen, we've run it on us plenty of times. I run it on myself monthly to go out there. And we do see, name, address, sometimes portions of the social, but more importantly, portions of passwords. And yes, people say that's not my password, but it's a derivative of the password. So if your password starts off with the same 8 characters all the time, it's easy for the bad guys to use cloud computing power to try to figure that out. So we try to emphasize whether you're a home user, you're a person in school, more importantly, a business user, that you're that key to that lock. And if you utilize the same username and password to maybe check your child's school grades or things along those lines, statistically, we do see that people are very repetitive and they use that same login. They potentially use their username and password for their business. And when that gets hacked, the bad guys have a way of starting off and getting in. And we really want to make that aware that it's a simple thing that you could do to better protect yourself.
It's like the Matrix. Once you get the pill, you start seeing what's really out there, and you can't unsee it after that. And then you can protect yourself.
And that's where a lot of the bad guys get out there, and we see these spoof emails that come out that saying, I know what you've been doing, if you don't pay me in Bitcoin, here's the derivative of your password. It's because they're gathering that data off the dark web. And if you know what you're doing, you can gather that information that's in place there. And I'm a true believer, and I've always been a true believer for 30 plus years. For every lock, there's a key. And today's key is your password. And if you can't protect that, you will have problems.
And I think it all started pretty dramatically when you were in Vegas. We must have crossed paths because I was leaving when the shooting started in Vegas. Just terrible tragedy, and you were kind of just getting ready for a meeting the next day. So you've learned a lot over the years to how to use these techniques to kind of help you in your marketing and to gather things. But that would have been quite an experience. Never forget
It's
that.
always a tough thing. And you're during that trip, I got to meet a young hacker that was out there, approached him, and saw that with a simple device that you can buy online and watching YouTube videos, you could scan Wi-Fi. And after that experience of seeing that in action, pre-pandemic, for many of us in the United States live in Starbucks, it was my favorite stop to go out there. I would people watch. And in those casual coffee house environments, people are very lax. People leave their laptops on. There were multiple times where today I'm in my home office wearing my company shirt that's out there, but my new normal, pre-pandemic business attire was suit and tie. I'd sit down at Starbucks, put my headphones on, my laptop, be a couple times a year where people would say, hey, can you watch this while I go to the bathroom? Or, people are very open with their screens, and they don't realize that, the bad guy could be sitting back there. Also, people were very proud to wear their badges, whether you're an AT&T, an AT&T, or a big company piece. Right now, you can gather information, and it sounds like we're watching a movie, but this is where it starts. They meet the mark in some place like this. They realize, oh my God, this guy could be an executive or work for a company, and that could be my way in.
Yeah,
Search
social
Facebook,
engineering.
search all those places. So
Social engineering is big. Let's go back to music, one of my passions. Uh, we were talking about the Grateful Dead, how they put fans first. They even started their own ticketing system to reward their fans by allowing them to buy tickets first, which was the only way they can do this, so they can have the best seats. How does LAN Infotech put their clients first? Is there something that you do to kind of make them show that they're special?
So the true term for us is managed service provider. So our clients pay us a monthly fee per desktop for a set of services. And really, services and products. They don't necessarily, I equate to antivirus as something simple. Instead of trying to figure out that maybe I'm using product A or product B, and we always relate to them in colors, red, greens, yellows. We're constantly looking at what we can do to better provide service. So for us, we'll upgrade our clients to the latest, greatest product as part of our service. And we're always looking for that next piece. I look back, where you asked, how we had such great 2 years. We're always forwardly thinking, looking for that next product that's in place there and bringing services to the clients. Just this year alone, we've invested in a warranty maintenance program that gives us information automated for all of our clients to let them know when equipment's out of warranty, documentation programs, and we're in the process right now of going out and making sure that all of our clients' Office 365 tenants, their Office 365 Microsoft product, is secure according to Microsoft's best practices. So we are looking out for our clients, and we have an ongoing dialogue. Post pre-pandemic, we would have quarterly events that were out there. Big hockey fan. Yes, there's hockey in South Florida, and we'd have 2-3 times a year invite clients to come out for 2-3 hours before game time. Go out. We'd have 4 or 5 vendors that would talk about all different types of technologies. Have people from the team and their IT staff come and speak to us and tell them how this hockey game is going to be better protected or broadcasted in 20 countries that are out there. And then we treat everyone out to dinner and a hockey game. My clients know that I love and breathe hockey. So when they can share some of our
Oh, you're from New York,
experiences,
right?
what was that?
You're from New York, so that's a hockey town.
That's a hockey town, Ranger fan. But I moved down to South Florida in 1996 when the Florida Panthers were young and made it out to the Stanley Cup. And about 6 years ago, we actually did IT for the Florida Panthers Hockey Club, which was just amazing. So when I can share some of my personal experiences with our clients, they feel a little more attached to us out there. But also pre-pandemic, we're involved in 6 or 7 local chambers of commerce. We're out there speaking all the time. We're helping people out. During the pandemic, the hundreds of webinars, the sponsorships, the helping people. I feel like you have to give back to a community. And I don't ask for anything back in that. I don't need a press release. I don't need a thank you that's in place there. I think it comes back to people that give. And those are the type of things that we really want to bring back to our clients. Just like getting one of those free cassettes of the concert you couldn't come to that someone would gladly duplicate and swap for you in the, in the 80s, 90s Grateful Dead times.
Yeah, I just bought a tape player, so they're coming back. Cassettes are back. Um, One last thing is, you've once said you can't BS the BSer. How does that serve you?
I will tell you that where this started is that in my early IT career, I had a recruiter come in and talk me into going out for an interview with a large power company. And they told me that they would give me all the information I needed. And this was a shoe-in for an unbelievable contract. I get into the room. I was memorizing some of the things that I was repeating back to it. And the interview lasted no more than 4 minutes. They threw me out as quick as I walked in. And I was never so embarrassed in my life. And I realized that, you have to be the expert. And if you don't really know something, you can't try to talk it up. Talk about what you know, because you don't know if the person on the other side really does know. And it really is embarrassing. That part stuck with me for way over 30 years. And I preach that to my kids. My 2 sons actually work for me, as well as young engineers. And in my industry, being an expert at what we do, the client doesn't want to hear that you don't know. The client wants to hear, let me look into that and find the right person to help you. Because people are coming to us for solutions, not questions.
Exactly. Well, you got some new chefs in training there.
That's it. That's it.
Perfect. Latest generation to take on the torch. LAN Infotech. If a company wants to work with you, what's the best way to reach you?
So sales@laninfotech.com. You could reach out to me, Michael Goldstein, on LinkedIn, Twitter. We're on the major feeds that are out there. And of course, www.laninfotech.com.
So a company that's growing, obviously successful with clients that are sticking around. You've got that loyalty aspect. You're really taking care of the customer by, trying to find all the holes and blocking it, such as Office 365, which is for a lot of people, they don't know that their tenant out of the box is unsecure. So you're taking care of all those things, making sure your clients are happy, and we can definitely see the success and the accolades that you're getting, like even the plaques behind you, showing that you've won some awards. So keep it up. We look forward to maybe seeing you at a hockey game soon.
Definitely.
Well, best of success in your future endeavors, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.